everybody. Thank you so much for joining the live. We're going to give it a few moments. Hello,
Hi, Vivian.
Hello, Dr. Beth Lesen. Thank you so much for joining our live today.
I'm so excited. This is the first Instagram Live I've ever done.
Woohoo!
Just me and you.
We've been able to snag you. So
I'm so excited.
Thank you so much for joining the Basic Needs Instagram Live. And it's such a critical month, I think, to snag you in is on CalFresh Awareness Month and Mental Health Awareness Month. And so I'm really glad that you were able to be available in the time that we're in right now, even as far as the way we are, to able to bring a conversation to our students and in such a critical time and really finding out why nutrition is so important and connected around mental health as Basic Needs and CalFresh Outreach Program here with the beach are trying their best to serve our students, but in mental health in general. Like, I'm just so glad that we were able to have you here with us to have this conversation. And I first want to allow you to introduce yourself and kind of let you introduce yourself for this live.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say how excited I am to have this conversation, especially with you, Vivian. I'm so happy to have this conversation with you. So for anyone who's joining us today, who I haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Beth Lesen, and I am Vice President of Student Affairs here at Cal State Long Beach. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. And May is CalFresh Awareness Month, and I'm looking forward to having this conversation with Vivian Hernandez.
Thank you so much, Beth. My name is Vivian Hernandez, and if no one knows me here, if you have not already, I am the Beach CalFresh Outreach Program Coordinator, and I love to assist students with CalFresh and any interest that they have in applying for it.
And if you don't know Vivian yet, you need to know Vivian. She is so fantastic and so approachable and so easy to talk to. And anyone who needs any assistance around CalFresh, Vivian is just delightful, such a ray of sunshine. So please feel comfortable, reach out for anything that you need, because you couldn't possibly connect with a kinder, more loving person.
Oh, thank you so much, Beth. I really do appreciate that so much. And in just really diving into it, Dr. Lesson, I just am so thankful that you're here and talking to us about it. Let's dive into a topic.
Let's do it.
Let's see. So, what is the importance of mental health and increasing awareness around food services and nutrition?
Okay, so that's a huge question, right? So I think that I don't think anyone who's joining us would be ignorant to the importance of mental health. I think we all know, especially in the past 14 months, how critical mental health is to just our general overall sense of well-being in the world, right? So everyone understands that it's important for your body to be fit in order to live a healthy life of well-being. And I think that more and more people are beginning to really understand how important it is for your mental health to have good quality mental health and to keep maintaining mental health, to build strong mental health and to maintain one's mental health. So I think that more and more people are really recognizing how important it is to pay attention to mental health. And you talk about what's interesting about this conversation, I think, is the tie-in with food, right? I love this conversation because so few people think about how the stuff we put into our body or don't put into our body impacts our well-being, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally. And it's amazing to me that we don't make that connection commonly in our lives because, you know, garbage in, garbage out. So, you know, everyone knows that the kind of fuel we put in a car is going to determine how well the car runs and for how long. And it's not as quick a connection for people to make that what we put into our bodies or don't put into our bodies impacts our entire being, how we live in the world and how we experience the world. So I love that we're getting a chance to have this conversation. And I love that we're connecting it to CalFresh, to food benefits, because, you know, I don't know if people know this, but my PhD is in psychology. I'm a psychologist by training, by discipline. And we talk about, we frequently don't talk about food and nutrition, or even exercise when we talk about mental health. And all of those things, we tend to split our well-being into pieces. And they're not separate from each other. And the more we think about them separately, the more of a disservice we do. All of these things are interconnected. So when we think about the impact food plays on mental health, it's huge. And also hunger. So not only what we eat, but also if we don't eat. So for example, I don't want to get too technical, but if you're hungry, so much of our moods, so much of our mental health is impacted by hormones, by how our hormones, our hormone levels, how they're produced, what spikes, what drops, and hunger and food consumption directly impacts that hormone production, the hormonal system, the endocrine system. And in particular, it's been evidenced that hunger spikes a hormone called ghrelin, and ghrelin spikes stress and anxiety, feelings of anxiety, and then anxiety can spike depression. So all of these things, if you experience chronic hunger or even bouts of hunger, sometimes when you're really hungry, you can have symptoms that mimic anxiety, the heart palpitations or the fidgeting or the irritable mood, like hangry. You know the word hangry. So we know that when we're hungry, when we're hypoglycemic, our blood sugar is low, or when we're hungry, we know that all of these things impact our mood because of how they impact our hormonal fluctuations. So it's so important that everybody have access to good, nutritious food, and that we're making sure that folks can get food, can eat when they're hungry.
Absolutely. And Dr. Lesen, I think you hit on something really important, which I'm going to have to make a shameless plug here and plug in another program, which is our CalFresh Healthy Living program. And, one thing is where we're able to help out and get them benefits. And hopefully when they get approved, they got this access now. But personally, myself, I had CalFresh. And when I had it, I did not know what to buy. I didn't know where to go, what food I could get, what type of food, if I could get some chicken, if I couldn't, and if I could get some vegetables, what kind. I did not have that knowledge. And so I had to unfortunately find out by swiping on my own and figure out what I could buy and what I couldn't buy. But CalFresh Healthy Living has been able to provide what you can buy when you have CalFresh and how you can actually make your food. So I think that's something really key, right? Is this act of taking care of ourselves is also really helping our mental health. I know something that I really find a value in is if I can make myself a meal and it's been a stressful day, then I think I'm not only taking care of myself, but my mental health. I'm taking a time out of my day to say a pause on all this right now, and I need to replenish my cup by making myself this sandwich that I'm about to eat before I go into this meeting or before I'm about to go into class. And I think that's something we're really missing, is a lot of our students are choosing between taking care of themselves and trying to become these amazing agents of change. And I think you can have both, right? You can fill up your cup and you can take care of yourself and also be this agent of change and want to have this inspiration that all of our students seem to have. But I think it's really difficult when that access isn't there. And so I think you hit on a key point where the food matters what goes in your body, and CalFresh Healthy Living and our specific CalFresh Healthy Living and our program are providing recipes that they can now use that are providing a holistic realm of foods that are incorporating vegetables and plant-based foods and meat if you're eating meat, but really trying to get in that knowledge about you can get in the kitchen, even if you don't have a kitchen, a microwave, being inclusive of all types of access that people have, and trying to make sure that your nutrition does matter. And I know for myself as an undergrad, a bag of chips was not what worked for me. It was not what's going to help my brain to retain that information in class and then really be able to excel and apply it. What really helped was sometimes having those veggies, having some of that water, having a good protein, and incorporating some fruits. And I noticed that's when I'm actually really performing at an optimal level and feel good inside. So I think that was something really key that you hit on regarding nutrition and how garbage in and garbage out will really reflect.
Oh my gosh, I love so many things that you just said. I love so many things that you just said. First of all, I love so much, Vivian, that you talked about nourishing yourself as a supreme act of self-care, because a lot self-care is a buzzword now, right? Everyone talks about self-care, and when they talk about self-care, there's like this weird tendency to talk about self-care in terms of like little luxuries, like a manicure. And I get it. I get that those acts, those momentary acts feel important, but self-care is literally care for self. And there is nothing more basic to self-care. There's nothing more integral to self-care than caring for your body, caring for making sure that you eat, making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that the food is nutritious, is giving your body the fuel, the nutrition that it needs, making sure that you can sleep, which food has a huge impact on. What you're eating has a tremendous impact on sleep, which is also incredibly linked to levels of depression in people. And I loved so much that you talked about not making a choice between being self-care and being an agent of change. Not only would I say that you can have both, I'm going to take that a level higher and say that you have to. I'm going to say that if you really want to be an effective change agent in the world, you absolutely have to take care of yourself, because no one is as effective or impactful when they're running on fumes, when they're falling apart, barely dragging themselves across the finish line. You absolutely have to take care of yourself if you want to be a really powerful and impactful change agent. Audre Lorde, so I'm going to paraphrase Audre Lorde, and I think you know where I'm going with this, but taking care of oneself is not self-indulgent. It's an act of political warfare. When you are a person, particularly when you are a woman, a person of color, an ethnic minority in any way, taking care of yourself and making sure that you are healthy and that you thrive and you cannot be put down is in itself a supreme act of activism. Just in and of itself, making sure that you're healthy and that you thrive is so critical to being a change agent.
Dr. Lesen, I couldn't bring it home any other way other than just brought that. That is really key.
Dr. Lorde, Audre Lorde said it.
Honestly, can't echo that enough. And I snap at that because it's so true, right? And you definitely leveled it up for the have to, because it's something we need to be able to keep going. And so I'm just extremely thankful to be able to just have a conversation with you about mental health and about nutrition and reeling it around. And I kind of wanted to ask a little bit more on the sense of like, if you could tell someone right now on this live, if they're interested in CalFresh and they want to know a little bit more, where would you gear them to if you were trying to?
I would gear them to you. Go to Vivian. No, Vivian's not the only one. She is phenomenal, but we have several phenomenal people who are prepared to help anybody who needs some assistance. So I would say visit our website at csulb.edu/CalFresh. Or I would say email calfresh@csulb.edu. You can, on social media, you can find us at, wait, I'm reading this one because I don't know this one, but I'm going to read it off a piece of paper, okay? At Basic Needs CSULB, all one word, just BASICNEEDS CSULB, Basic Needs CSULB. Or you can text, this is, I think, my favorite part, you could text 562-317-1492. And I'm going to say that again, 562, text 562-317-1492. So there are so many ways to access assistance. And you're seeing right here in front of you, Vivian's happy smiling face. This is the person on the other side of that text. So approachable, so empathic, totally gets you. So there's no excuse. There's no reason not to reach out, because you will be embraced and cared for immediately by people who are so excited to help.
Absolutely, Dr. Lesen. You couldn't have said it better. Thank you for plugging in all of our contact information.
Plugging them all in. Plugging them all in.
Everything in. She has done her research. She knows this campus, and she's really here, ready, close to a 1-year anniversary with CSULB community, and we couldn't be luckier and happier to have you as of someone who's advocating for our community to have more access to the most necessary critical services.
You
So I
know, CalFresh is enormous. It's so important. And I'm actually hoping, I'm very excited to see how many of the regulations were relaxed during COVID to make sure that nobody was cut off, no one was cut off from being able to access benefits. So critical, so important. And it doesn't just stop there, right? So first of all, I want to circle back to what you said about chips as an undergrad. So I want to say one thing about junk food. And in fairness, you know, I'm not going to be a hypocrite because I am such a bad eater. I get all the good food in, but I also get some junk in. Like
yeah.
I have to do a lot of exercise because of all the junk that I like to eat. And I have a problem. I will say right here on Instagram Live, I have a problem. But this is what I know about all of that stuff. So there's nutrient dense food, and then there's nutrient bankrupt food. And things like chips require more energy from your body to process and metabolize than it puts back. Vegetables and other healthy foods give your body, through nutritional value, more energy than it takes to digest, but junk takes more energy to digest than it puts back in. So what winds up happening? And we all know this. I know this because I eat junk food. I eat a lot of junk food. And I know the difference between how I feel after a healthy meal and how I feel after a not so healthy meal. And after a not so healthy meal, I feel tired. I feel like a little, you know, a little out of it, not super out of it, but a little not so great. Where if I have a healthier lunch, that doesn't mean that I have healthy lunches all the time. I totally don't. I did not today, incidentally. But after I eat a healthy lunch, I have energy. I'm not tired. I don't have that slump in the afternoon. After I eat junk food, I have that slump. So why is it? Because of the difference between nutrient-dense foods and how the body reacts to that versus food that is more calorie dense and not as nutritionally dense. So what happens when you eat a whole lot of kind of junk foods? Tired, weird hormone production. You wind up kind of needing a nap. So what happens? You wind up not being as productive, and then you wind up feeling stressed out about not having gotten as much done, and it interrupts sleep patterns. We know that sugar does a job on sleep patterns, and so now you're not as productive in the afternoon. You don't sleep as well at night. The next day you're more tired. It repeats itself in a kind of vicious cycle. So we know that food, we know this. Not only do we know this from studies, from research, but we also just know it. Like we've all been there. We know the difference and how
Definitely.
we feel. So, you know, we know. So I'm so excited that that not only are you helping students to access benefits, but you're teaching people how to cook and how to plan and prepare healthy meals.
Absolutely.
But I also have tremendous empathy for folks who have a hard time finding the time to do that. I know that so many of our students are working, some 2 or 3 jobs. And when you work so hard and you have so little time and you're also going to school, maybe you have a kid, maybe you have other people in your family depending on you, it's really hard. You wind up eating whatever you can find when you can find it. So that's part of why it's so critical to plan ahead, to find some time to plan ahead, because if we don't plan ahead, we set ourselves up for failure and we get into that downward spiral. So I'm so happy that you're teaching, that you're helping folks learn how to take that benefit and really plan well and use that benefit to really produce health and wellness. That's such a great service. I hope folks are really taking you up on that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lesen. And it really is. Natalie Aceves, leading CalFresh Healthy Living, we've partnered up on so many recipes, on partnered on so many ideas. And please check out her page, everyone on this chat. She has amazing energy recipe balls that you can make quick at home. So you can swap that out for some chips, and you can already have some energy balls for throughout the day. I know I want to make those, but you're absolutely right, Dr. Lesen. Like we have to outreach these resources as much as possible and hope that they connect to them. But you're right, really opening up that time and planning ahead and really showing that meal prepping can help and really save some money and provide that access to students.
I'm going to go find those energy balls because you know what? I'm totally about child labor too. I have an 11-year-old at home, and she's gotten into like prepping little things.
Yes,
If you've got
I
like
do.
10, 11, 12-year-olds in your life, they're into it, they want to do it. Get your kids involved, get your brothers and sisters involved, get your cousins involved. You don't need to do all your meal prep. This is why multi-generational work here. Like
Definitely.
we need teams, we need villages. Get
Yes,
those kids in there making those energy balls for you to bring with you for your break.
I love that.
Yes, start
Yeah.
them young. I just saw Rod's World. Yes,
Start
start
them
them
young.
young.
I love that idea. That is absolutely key. And I think I'm definitely gonna get my nieces and my nephews on my energy balls and get that prep
Totally. And then you have them for the week. And you also taught them how to make healthy snacks for themselves.
themselves as well. And just circulating that culture, circulating that information to hopefully have a wellness community.
It's
I,
not taking advantage of the kids.
no,
It's teaching them some skills that are also going to be life skills for them, and also supporting you. And kids are so proud when they're able to support the adults they love in their lives. I say, go with that.
uh,
Run with it.
I love that, Dr. Lesen. Thank you so much for just being on this live with us, sharing the space with us, joining us in on this critical conversation about not only CalFresh Awareness Month, but also Mental Health Awareness Month, being so approachable and so open. And I know this won't be our last live together. I know this will start.
I love doing this. I'm going to be Instagramming live all over the place, Vivian. You got
Great.
me hooked.
All right, then we're going to book you for the next one. I am so thankful to
Awesome.
you. I hope you have an amazing week and stay well, Dr. Beth Lesen.
Thank you for everything you do with our students, Vivian. You're a star.
Thank you so much. You're most welcome. Stay well.
You too.
Bye. Thank you, everybody. Stay well.